Guys, I'm a rant real quick, bro. I'm I'm a rant. Why are people all of a sudden saying Charles Oliveira is gonna win and beat Makhachev with ease? Did we not see the last fight? Let me play out the last fight because I recently just watched it. The fight starts. Oliveira throws a head kick. Islam blocks it. 10 seconds into the fight, Islam hurts Oliveira. That changes everything. After that punch that Islam threw to Oliveira, Oliveira's mental just changed, went out the window. He wasn't as aggressive as he was during the Justin Gaethje fights, Dustin Poirier fights, the Michael Chandler fight. In those three fights, literally all Oliveira did was push forward, throw whatever he could throw to land at them, to get them on notice and be afraid of what Oliveira's bringing to them. In the first 10 seconds with Islam, literally, Islam lands a right hand on Charles that hurts him. Oh my God! Why, guys? Charles has no chance to win in the grappling or the striking. And then in the grappling, we literally saw what happened. Islam's just gonna control Charles because Charles is too comfortable on his back. Why is Charles too comfortable on his back against Islam? You can't be too comfortable on the back. That you're losing the fight, especially when Islam's on top of you. When Islam was on top of him, sure, he held him down for the first 2 minutes of being on the ground. But then 2.5 minutes in, Islam started throwing elbows and punches at Oliveira's face, which cut him, which dazed him, which hurt him. And then when they got up, Oliveira had nothing for Islam on the feet. Like, come on. Why are we talking about Oliveira like he's a new striker all of a sudden? Like I'm seeing people say, "Oh, Oliveira has this new head movement." Where in the Benny fight? I've watched the Benny fight. It's literally the same Charles. Oh, Oliveira's gonna win because he now throws head kicks. Oliveira threw a head kick at Islam in like the first 10 seconds of the fight. He did nothing, nothing. Islam's too good to be hit by anything Charles throws at him. The only way I could see Charles winning is if he just blitzes into Islam and hurt him. That's the only way I could see Charles winning. If he puts Islam on notice with his striking in the first 30 seconds and actually hurts him, I could see Islam, being a little weary on the feet, wanting to go to the takedowns more, and Oliveira might stuff them. Then, Islam's going to be worried about the striking that's coming back to him. What Oliveira can't do is throw a random knee out of nowhere and act like it's going to land or it's going to phase Islam. He can't do that. If he does that, he's just going to get countered again and dropped and then submitted. And Islam's going to do what Islam has done to everybody in this streak he's been on, just finish you with submissions. He did Bobby Green, finished him with ground and pound. Drew Dober, arm triangle. Dan Hooker, a nasty Kimura. And then in his last fight, Charles Oliveira, arm triangle. I mean, if this dude gets you in any type of submission, it's over. And I don't see Oliveira submitting Charles. I think Islam is way too good for that. His defense is way too good. Islam knows what he's doing on the ground. And in the first fight, it looked like, I'll be honest, it looked like Islam was a step ahead of Charles the whole time. Literally the whole time. And even in the Benny fight, again, Oliveira was too comfortable on his back. Why is this guy always comfortable on his back? You are losing the fight. You are losing the fight. Like I don't get it. Well, why are you accepting why are you accepting back position against Benny while he's throwing punches at you? Why? You're losing the fight. And I know he finished Benny earlier, but bro, Benny's not the best striker. He's a decent striker. Benny's good. But to call him he's a good striker. But to call him to put Benny with Poirier, Gaethje, Fiziev, those strikers, no, that's just not true. Benny, the way Benny got hurt is he was circling away from the edge of the cage with his hands down. This dude had his hands down and literally took a left hook from Charles Oliveira that hurt him. That's why Charles initially hurt him and then finished him, because Benny wanted to have his hands down. You can rewatch the fight right now. Literally, Beneil Dariush had his hands down and then took a clean one on the chin. Yeah, if you take a clean one on the chin from Charles, it's probably over. Just like how Justin took a clean one from Charles. hurt him bad. You can't take a clean one from Charles, and I don't think Islam is. I think Islam's too defensively sound to be taking punches from Charles Oliveira. We seen in the first fight, Islam was winning the exchange the whole 2 rounds that it lasted. I don't see Oliveira winning. I don't know. I don't know why all of a sudden people are saying Charles is gonna win, especially the fanboys. he's not gonna win. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but he's not gonna win. He has no chance of winning. He's just gonna get finished again. Oh my god! And I can't wait. I'll be honest. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Charles get finished and all his fanboys just crying, talking about the champion has a name. It's about to stop. It's about to come crashing down. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for Islam to finish Charles. I like Charles. Don't get me wrong. Charles is exciting. He's a fun fighter. You know, I like his charisma. But man, we gotta stop. We gotta stop acting like Islam is one of the best fighters in the world right now. Striking wise and grappling wise. I mean, Islam has shown that he is a top level striker. He showed that with the Volkanovski fight. Volkanovski, he literally 45 Max Holloway in the third fight. The best boxer in the UFC. We're calling Max Holloway the best boxer in UFC after the Calvin Kattar fight. And then Volk decides to 50-45 him in the third fight, screaming at him. when Volk starts talking to you during the fight, that's how you know you're in trouble. I mean, Volk's really good at striking. And Islam beat him in the striking exchanges. Except the 5th round where Volk hurt him, dropped him. But other than that, Islam won every round. The first, actually I'd give the first to Volk, but round 2, 3, and 4, Islam clearly won. Some of it was striking, some of it was wrestling. The 4th round was all just Islam taking Volk's back. But the 2nd and 3rd round, even the 1st round, I'm pretty sure the 2nd round is where Islam dropped him. I mean, if you're dropping Volk, you gotta have some good striking. That's what Islam has. He's shown that in the Charles fight, in the first fight, where he was landing at will. You can literally rewatch the fight. Islam was landing at will. He was doing whatever he wanted. Every time Islam threw, he would land on Charles. Charles would try to throw something, he'd get countered. Islam is such a good counter striker. Every time Charles threw anything, he'd instantly get countered. And that's what made Charles not throw as much as he usually does against Dustin Poirier in the first round. Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira went back and forth in the first round. It was such a crazy back and forth round. But you didn't see that in the Islam fight because literally in the first 10 seconds, Islam hurt him. And that changed his mental, as I was talking about. The whole point is, Charles' only way to win is to hurt Islam in the first 30 seconds and put him on notice. That's how Charles is going to win. If he doesn't do that, Islam's going to get comfortable. You know, going into the 3rd minute of the first round, he's going to get comfortable. He's going to be flowing. He's going to be putting his hands up, waiting for Charles to throw, then counter him. That's what I see happening in this fight. Again, you know, Islam's going to be countering Charles. He's going to hurt him bad again and then submit him. And that's what's going to happen. But the only way I see Charles winning, big if, because not a lot of people hurt Islam. Not a lot of people hurt Islam. Volk hurt Islam in the 5th round, and we know how good of a striker Volk is, and he hurt him in the 5th round. Charles Oliveira has to hurt him in the first 30 seconds to put him on notice and go at him. He has to go at him, but not go at him where it's at a point where he's throwing flying knees like 5 feet in front of him. That's not going to land. No, he can't do that. He actually has to work behind his jab, throw them straight, throw straight punches. He has to throw leg kicks too. That's what Charles also has to do. He has to throw leg kicks. I didn't see a lot of leg kicks in the fight. And he does have some good leg kicks. He was throwing knees. Oh, and in the clinch against the cage, Islam was winning exchanges when the fight was being held at the cage. At a point, Islam literally judo threw Oliveira onto the ground. That's how he got top position. That's how we got control time on Oliveira. That's how he cut him open with the punches and elbows. So yeah, that's how I see the fight going. I might have said Charles has no chance, but he really only has one chance. That's all I'm giving him. I really don't see a way Islam loses, to be honest. He's not gonna get submitted. He's too good for that, as I said. And he really doesn't get hurt. He really doesn't get landed on too cleanly because he's so defensively sound. And Charles Oliveira, man, if you want a chance to win, you gotta hurt him early. That's your only chance. You gotta hurt him early, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is an early prediction who I have. You know, when fight week comes, I will be making a predictions video with the main card fighters, and I'll be going into more depth. But this is just kind of like an early prediction of my thoughts. Maybe it'll change in like the next couple of weeks, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do go back and forth with who's gonna win. But I I believe Islam will win. I believe he's gonna make it look easier than the first fight. I don't think he's gonna finish Islam in the second round. I think he'll finish him in the third or fourth. So yeah, Charles, you got him in the first 30 seconds, or it's over. It's wraps.